We are another week closer to Singapore, and honestly, the more days that go by, the more I am a believer that Victor is actually a pretty good pick. Right now, Victor is on the front foot of decks that I might play come Singapore here in a few weeks. But one of the questions we have to ask ourselves is, as Victor, how are we going to beat Verdance? Verdance has taken a very big meta share. She's a very powerful deck, and she had a very, very good conversion rate. And she won US Nationals. So she's been doing it all lately. Now, Verdance gets a lot of really cool tools like Felling of the Crown, which can be tough because it forces cards from our hand to the bottom of our deck. And then it makes blocking weird because if we block with multiple cards after we lost one, all of a sudden we don't have a lot of tempo and we're playing one card hands, and that's a very, very quick way to lose to a wizard. Now, the other interesting thing about Verdance is that they're able to play Surgent Aethertide, which is a really cool weapon that combos really well with a card like Rampant Growth and Life. Now, they're able to use things like Healing Potion and the new Amulet Healing Potion. I can't remember what it's called. And they try to set up this really big combo turn where they gain a bunch of life. They amp a couple times. They play 2 Rampant Growths in one turn. They ping you a bunch of times with Verdance, and then they just kill you with the Surgent Aethertide. They don't even really need a follow-up spell, which means that Arcane Compliance is not going to get a lot of value. So you can't even just sideboard Arcane Compliance and stuff Verdance. But as Victor, we can try to combat that in specific ways. Now, one of the first ways is that we have to play Arcane Barrier in some capacity because we have to be trying to really slow down their early game setup with the random pings here and there and just random things they're going to throw at us. But 2 of the best cards that really help us combat this matchup are Rouse the Ancients. Rouse the Ancients is a great card because it allows us to play offensive go again, but it's also a blue that pitches if we need it to. So if we're ever in a spot where we can't play Rouse the Ancients because our attacks don't meet the right power requirements, then we just pitch Rouse the Ancients as value to Arcane Barrier, or we can tuck it to the bottom on a Felling of the Crown. The other card that gets great value is Visit Goldmane Estate. Visit Goldmane Estate is again another blue. It's a 3 block, which is insane, and it generates a lot of offense if we have good tempo of the game, which is very, very powerful for us. But one question you might ask yourself is, where does the Clash cards, where do they fall into all this? Honestly, I think Trounce is a trap, and I think we have to play Test of Strength and hope it lines up well, just because it gets so much value if we win a Clash. But be careful, they're reds, and you might have to pitch them sometimes. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. All right, we're playing against Verdance, and we are going second. Our opponent made the decision to go first, which, we're seeing why that's a pretty good turn cycle. They were just able to start the game at 45, which is, crazy good. I guess they want to undo something. No, they'd rather hit us with a Burn Bear. Honestly, this is fine with me because I really don't like having 2 Clashamites in my hand, and they've decided that the Pulse of Candlehold is probably just better off in Arsenal. Honestly, I'm pretty inclined to agree. I think that's perfectly fine. We're just going to lead on Outmuscle. We're just going to try to have a really good start to this game here where we get to go Outmuscle into Hammer and try to put them on the back foot. The fact that they decided to not block so quickly is kind of terrifying. They have the Pulse of Candlehold. They block with Everbloom and Life. I guess they were waiting for the follow-up there. Waiting to see if I throw a Command and Conquer on the back foot or something. It makes sense. It's a good block in my opinion. I don't think we're gonna be able to get value out of the Rouse the Ancients this turn cycle. They were able to turn on their Plow Under here, which is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I really wanted to hit him with the Pummel, but I think we're supposed to wait. We will just give the shield here. Any chance I get to try and keep life up, I think we're going to take. I think that's a perfectly fine play. It's just to keep life up as much as we can early because it makes it harder for them to just combo kill us out of nowhere. So if we draw a blue that works, we'd have to crack a gold to be able to make it happen. Could be worth it. Could be worth it. This feels pretty good to me. We can just go Zealous Belting for 5 into Hammer for 4. So gives us the ability to just apply some pressure here, set up mites, and then hit him with a Golden Sun next turn. There are we're playing 3 Rouse the Ancients, 3 E-Strike, 3 Zealous, and 3 Outmuscle. So we're on 12 copies of Go Again cards. So hopefully we see another one next turn cycle. I'd really like to be able to follow up. Like, we've had 2 Go Again turns so far, and I'd like to be able to follow that up with something better, but... Oh, they're just going to say no blocks. Interesting. Okay, so that means they're probably wanting to play the E-Strike. It's E-Strike into an attack, or it's E-Strike into the Ether Tide, which I think just throwing the Ether Tide at us every turn is honestly, like, weirdly fine, because it leaves me in, like, a like, I'm not going to say, like, a weird place, but it can be, I feel like. Okay, what's our turn cycle look like here? We're going to go E-Strike. I think we're just taking 5 here, honestly. So we go to 31, and then our turn is Outmuscle for 9 Go Again. We're not even going to play the E-Strike this turn. Okay, they'd rather Arsenal a card and put the Healing Potion in play. I mean, I personally think that's really good. We're going to throw the Outmuscle for 9, and then we're going to use Tunic to come in for 10. So 19 points is pretty solid. Like, to be fair, like, that's a pretty big turn cycle for a Guardian player. Most Guardians don't get that high in value. Blocking with a Stonewall Gauntlet in a very smart place makes sense. Just immediately trying to, like, shut down the value there. I am going to have to break the combat chain because my Golden Sun will get -1 value if we let that happen. Blocking with Barkskin seems oddly incorrect here. I don't really know what the worry is. Like, why would you block with Barkskin when you don't have to? Yeah, I was like, you're not going to get the value out of the Barkskin, so we're just going to throw this again. Like, you only have 2 cards, or 2 Earth cards. Yeah. So you're basically just using Stonewall Gauntlets to block 2, which is pretty good value. That's going to give you cards 3 and 4. So now they are going to have access to Barkskin of the Millennium Tree, kind of amping up and blocking pretty efficiently here. We are going to break the combat chain. I'm going to use Tunic for a resource, and then it's going to be the Golden Sun for 10 overpower. And Talishar crashed out there for a second. That's okay, we're back. The good news about 10 overpower is that it's, like, pretty tough to block. Defense reactions are pretty much the only way to get 2 cards in front of this. And this does create a little bit of a life separation between the 2 of us. Now, because they have Storm Striders, we need more life separation than normal. Them throwing the Cadaverous Tilling is great here, actually, because this is going to come in for 8, and we're going to be able to block. And depending on what we win with, we can take 4, and then we get to go E-Strike into the Golden Sun. Winning that is pretty big. Is there a world where I'm supposed to play the Outmuscle here? I don't have the Pummel, which scares me a little bit, I'll be honest. So if they do shut this down, it's a pretty bad turn cycle for us. But we have the ability to go Outmuscle into E-Strike for 7, Arsenal the Golden Sun, and just really, like, get, like, aggressive here this turn. We're going to hope this pans out. This is a little greedy at times because they have some good attacks that can block here. Felling of the Crown does not count. Felling of the Crown does not count unless it's on the combat chain. So this does have Go Again, which is pretty nice. Admittedly, I will not complain about that. We'll throw Spinal Crush on the bottom and come in for 7. So a 13-point turn cycle here, forcing some life and 3 cards out of my opponent's hand. I think this is honestly a pretty big win. It's worth mentioning that I did cut Trounce in this matchup. I think that our block cards have some value, but not like this crazy amount of value. So I'm not super interested in always having them in. Do we want to play Goldmane Estate, or do we want to pitch to Riches of Trōpal? I feel like we just want to play the Goldmane Estate, right? I mean, we're probably going to end up doing both. Throwing the red Chokeslam feels pretty good here. I think this is fine. We make a gold, we don't draw a card. I wish that we would have been able to, like, generate an extra gold this turn cycle for an extra might, but we weren't going to be able to no matter what happened there. All right, so our opponent takes 1 to 18. We're still at 27, so like we could die to like combo out of nowhere, but they don't have enough pieces, I don't think, right now. Their hero ability's not on, so that's actually just 3 life. I think we're just going to take this to 26. So we're going to go to 26, they're going to go to 23. So they've managed to like tie it up a little bit here, make it a little bit closer. Would we rather play the Golden Sun or the weakest link here is really the question we're going to have to ask ourselves here in just a second. Because we have the ability to go Zealous Belting for 9 into the weakest link, which could really force some good cards here. Yeah, I think the weakest link is probably just better, right? Plus, like, the Golden Sun gets less value when they have an embodiment of Earth in play, because they have an easier way of blocking overpower. They have a Cadaverous Tilling. All right, so they're going to throw Cadaverous Tilling at me. This would be a really good time to draw a Test of Strength. We did not draw a Test of Strength. A little bit of a clunker here, to be honest. What are we looking to draw into? So if I pitch Spinal Crush, to play this and we hit a blue, I get to go Zealous Belting into CNC, but they don't have an arsenal. So are we better off to just block with CNC? We can block CNC here, take 5, go to 21, and then try to play out this turn. Because if we rip into a blue, so if we draw a blue, I pitch Spinal Crush to play Goldmane Estate. Draw blue, we're just going to play the Golden Sun, Arsenal, Zealous Belting, which I think is fine. Like, again, we're setting up another, like, very aggressive go-again hand, so I think this is fine. If we rip a red, this is going to feel pretty bad. Admittedly, it doesn't feel as bad because it's the weakest link off the top of the deck, so that's a pretty lucky draw. Because we could be forcing 2 cards out of their hand here. Really just depends on what their hand setup looks like. Defense reaction, yep. I was like, they have a lot of D-reacts, so I'm assuming it's just a defense reaction. They probably have like a healing potion they want to put into play. It's probably going to be like healing potion and pass if I had to guess. Ability puts them to 20, and then that's going to ping me for an arcane, right? Pretty sure. Yeah, we're just going to pitch the Cranial Crush here. Energy Potion. So Energy Potion, Healing Potion, they're all like really a part of like their massive like combo swing or whatever. So do we just want to throw this? Nah, Chokeslam's insane, right? Like, Chokeslam's just insane value, especially for 14. The overpower is very, very good, but honestly, if my opponent's willing to block with 3 cards like this, I think I'm okay with that. Because it means that their turn is, like, not really going to be super impactful. Like, if they put a potion into play, it could be pretty good, but... I think we'll just overpitch to... Actually, I'm going to pitch this now, because there's no reason for me to keep it in my hand. Drawing that there, like, you're kind of seeing why some of the Clash cards can be a little awkward. And I know I mentioned that I cut Trounces earlier in the game, and that's a prime reason why. You don't want to draw them all the time. You want to draw Clashes sometimes. Because sometimes they can be good, but I think that being on, like, all 6 Clash cards is honestly a mistake in this matchup. Especially considering a lot of decks are, like, focused on the Surge and Aethertide line where they're trying to combo you. And we still have to be pretty aware of that. I mean, they have 4 life in play plus an energy potion, so there's a very, very real chance we could just die out of nowhere if we give them a turn cycle to be able to keep cards. Ooh, they're attacking us. Fun. I think we're just gonna block like this, take 6, and then we're just gonna go 7 into 10. I don't think we have a better choice. Like, I know that this feels a little, like, weird, but I just don't think we have a better choice, if I'm being honest. I think we're better off to just go 7 into 10. I'm debating if I want to crack a gold to try and draw a card here. Taking 7 or a defense reaction? Probably a D react, right? I was like, yeah, probably got to be something. I can't imagine. It's like, I can't imagine you feel comfortable going all the way down to 8 here. Do I want to arsenal the Cranial Crush or do we want to draw a card? I think we're going to draw a card. If we draw a good red, we're in a great spot. If we draw like a blue, it's kind of weird, but I think this is fine. I think this is perfectly fine because now we get to arsenal a go again card and we get to continue to set up here. We could have like continued to crack gold to like try to keep pushing value and stuff, but I just don't think it's worth. Oh, maybe if they're going to keep 3 cards and try to kill me, it's worth. I don't know. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we could just be dead. We might be cooked. Is this going to be an arcane? Or is this going to be like a combo? I guess is the question. We have an E-Strike in Arsenal. I'm going to take this and see if they attack us. They could throw a physical attack at us. Yep, there it is. There it is. That's the physical attack we were looking for. So we're going to put the... We're going to put the Command and Conquer on the bottom. And then we're going to block 7. Test of Strength hits a Macho Grande, which is pretty solid. And then we get to have a pretty decent hand here. Like, having the go again is really good. Yeah, we're just going to start with go again and see how they respond. We have access to AB2 twice from 13, which means with them having Surge and Aethertide in play, we should be decently safe, but I don't know for sure. Now, if they just block with Command and Conquer, we're now sitting in a situation... I was like, yeah, if they just block with Command and Conquer, they have to give me another card. They can technically go to 1 right here if they want to. And, you know, we're Guardian. Like, we're not really just going to, like, snipe them out of nowhere. So I think that's pretty safe for them. I wonder if they'll gain a little bit of life here. No. We'll just throw the Chokeslam. It's just the most damage, and it forces potentially the most cards here. The thing that scares me is that now is when we need a go again hand. Like, we've already seen all of our Goldmane estates, which don't get me wrong is great. Like, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like, this is when we need go again hands. We need to put them on the back foot here. If we give them a chance to keep 2 or 3 cards, we could just die. Pummel could be our play. Like, Pummel could just be our play. The go again into Pummel feels pretty good. I don't think we want to go... I don't think we just want to throw the... I don't think we just want to throw the weakest link. I think that would be a mistake this turn cycle. I'm hoping that this Pummel can, like, bail us out here. This might be able to close the game out for us. We haven't played one yet, so technically we have 1 more left in the deck. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm on 2 right now. I'm on 2 Pummels. We're going to hope we don't just get snuffed here by D-React. Okay. I mean, oh no, just kidding. They're not going to do that? Okay, yeah, Rootbound Carapace makes sense. It's not Command and Conquer. So, let's see. They can gain 2, 4, 6, 7. They can gain 7 life. Amp 7 and then come in for 8 to put us to 5, so they can't kill us. They cannot kill us with whatever they're trying to do. They can gain a bunch of life and then put us down pretty low, which is sad, but... I mean, are we just blocking this whole thing out? Like, is that just the world we're living in? I don't know if that saves them. If they have exactly a defense reaction... Wait, does this return something for them? Earth action card, okay, or instant cards, so they can't return a D-React. They draw a D-React? Man, they ripped a D-React. Ugh, I thought we were going to be able to get them right there, to be honest. I was hoping we were going to be able to close it out right there. The Pummel seems like fine, I guess. Probably not going to be able to cheese them to win the game with Pummel from here. Maybe. Okay, just kidding. They're not just going to pass. I thought they were like just going to pass. So they're going to go to 4. Now, if like they would have played this after they did all this, so let's see. What is drawing a? What if I crack a gold here? I have 1 floating, which means I can't play the Pummel if I draw. Well, if I draw a red, I can exactly play it. But what does me having a blue do? Like, what does extra blues off the top of the deck do for me? Is there anything good that I can do with like a solid hand here? Like extra golds? There's what? There's no Golden Suns left, so like I think we're fine to try and draw into something. Like maybe we get into this like weird spot. I mean, we might as well just go for it at this point, I think. It's just an arsenal if nothing else. Man, I would love to be able to... I would love to be able to play that and pummel it. That would be insane. That probably wins us the game. Like, if we had 1 floating there, that probably wins us the game. I think we have to play this. I think we have to put them to 2. It's sad, and they're smart enough to block with 2 cards. We're not going to be able to steal this game. Our opponent's too good. Them cracking the amulet and like doing their whole thing right here is actually fine because I get to pitch Riches, and these are actions. So they have to let me draw a card. There's nothing they can do about it. Is this their turn cycle? So let's see. This is what they've gained 6 life so far. I mean, I guess we'll keep this just in case we have to block. So now they've gained 7 life and they're going to amp 7. So they're going to hit us for 1, which we're going to block. They're going to amp 7. They're going to plume something back, and we're probably dead. Oh, they have double rampant growth here. Yeah, now we're definitely dead. Dang it. Man, I thought we had a chance there. Yep, and we're just dead to that. Our opponent played that masterfully all the way down to the wire, and this is one of the biggest problems with Victor into Verdance, is that if you can't kill them at the end of the game like we couldn't right there, then they'll get you eventually. This game is a prime example of why Verdance is such a hard matchup for Victor, and why we have to continue to really see if there's any kind of tech we can find or sideboard cards we might look for, because honestly, my opponent played this game flawlessly. They gained life when they needed to. They blocked very well. Like, I tip my hat to my opponent. If they end up watching this video, like, chef's kiss to them, because they played very, very well the entire game, and they comboed me at the end. There was a couple of like weird hands. The double test of strength hand was pretty weird, but stuff like that's bound to happen. You're playing a Guardian, like a mid-rangey style deck, so it's bound to happen from time to time. But overall, this is exactly the problem why we have to keep looking so that we can figure out how to beat Verdance. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe there's a card I'm missing or a playline that I missed right there that might have won me that game. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.